Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Star Trek Online. This time we are continuing our look at the starships within Star Trek Online, and we have come to one of the best ships in the game to a lot of people, the Vesta Class. This ship is pretty much the op ship for Star Trek Online. There are three variants of it, and I'm going to not demonstrate, but at least show you that. And there are unique consoles from each variant that you can combine into three and put on one ship and get all the abilities of all the ships put together. So it's pretty unique. The Vesta Class, as far as I can recall, is captained by, or was captained, or is captained by Ezri Dax. And I believe this ship is from novels. We've never seen the Vesta in an actual TV show of Star Trek. This actually comes from the books. And Star Trek Online was able to use that as a canon ship, apparently. CBS, I guess, approves all that, and they were allowed to put that ship in the game. This ship has a ton of features. It is a multi-mission explorer is the type of ship it's called, multi-mission explorer. It is basically a tactical ship, an engineer ship, and a science ship all rolled into one. But it leans heavily on the science, and I'll show you that. I guess the best way to show you the ship is just go to the Z store, because that's where you buy the ship. And you can buy it as a pack where you get all three ships at once, or you can look at them and buy them separately as well. It's like 5,000 Zen for all three and 2,500 I think for each one, or 2,000, something like that. Let's see, multi-vector, let's find the ship. There's the Odyssey. I bet I passed it. Yes, there they are, right there, the Vesta. So, as you can see, I have purchased all three. I chose the bundle for 5,000 Zen. It's the best value. You get all three of them. But again, separately, they're like 2,500 Zen. So, yeah. The three different ones they have is, as you can see, a tactical Vesta, an engineering Vesta, and a science Vesta. And they are all called multi-mission ships. But the tactical Vesta is called multi-mission Reconnaissance. The engineering Vesta is multi-mission Strategic Explorer. And the science is multi-mission Surveillance Explorer. So it gets a bit confusing, I guess, if you're trying to remember which one goes to what. But the Zen store here, you can read about it, and that helps you clear it up a little bit. There's some pictures of the tactical Vesta. As you can see, it looks pretty nice. And we'll just read a little bit about it here. The most technologically advanced line of starships in the fleet, the multi-mission Reconnaissance Explorer, Aventine Class, comes with a myriad of new technologies. Originally designed as a testbed ship for experimental quantum slipstream drive, Vesta-type ships have been successful in combat against the Borg. One of the initial Vesta-class ships, the Aventine, is commanded by Captain Ezri Dax. By definition, the ship is extremely versatile. It features a bonus tactical console slot, a hangar bay. Yeah, these ships do have a hangar bay. You can launch runabouts and perhaps other ships as well from the hangar bay. So a little bit of a carrier type thing. Sensor analysis, subsystem targeting, and is the only science vessel that can equip cannons. Yep, these ships can equip cannons, so there you go. Very powerful. It also features Universal Lieutenant Commander and Universal Ensign Bridge Officer slots. And the Aventine Class comes with a standard Mark 12 auxiliary dual heavy phaser cannon. This cannon is designed to utilize auxiliary power instead of weapon power. The Aventine Class also comes equipped with a Quantum Field Focus Controller Universal Console. The Quantum Field Focus Controller can reroute main power to the deflector dish and fire a high-intensity quantum field focused phaser through the main deflector dish. That's interesting, and I'll show you guys that. The Quantum Field Focus Controller may be equipped by any multi-mission science vessel in any console slot. It is part of the experimental system set. The other two pieces of the set, the sympathetic fermion transceiver and the multi-dimensional multidimensional wave function analysis module can be found on the other multi-mission Explorer starships. The 2-piece set bonus grants you Chronoton integrated quantum slipstream, and the 3-piece bonus grants you a quantum-focused shield bubble. Try to say all that 3 times fast. The multi-mission Reconnaissance Explorer comes with the Aventine Class ship costume. Acquiring other science vessels will unlock additional costumes. Unlocking the multi-mission Reconnaissance Explorer Aventine Class unlocks the ship for every Federation Vice Admiral character on your account. So yeah, this intro is going to be a little bit lengthy before we get to Infected Space Elite, so I'll put up a blurb in the video to where Infected Space Elite technically starts, but this is probably going to be a very long intro simply because we got 3 ships to talk about, and then I'm going to show you the unique consoles and abilities in space before we get to testing this, because there's a lot about this ship. It's actually 3 ships, so there's a lot to talk about here. Okay, so the Tactical Vesta has a hull strength of 27,900. It does have a good shield modifier because it's a science ship, so you got really good shield capacity on this thing. 750 crew, pretty large crew. Weapon slot though is not as much as you would think. You only get 3-4 weapon slots and 3 aft. You would think on a ship like this maybe you would get 4-4. That would make it really up, but at this stage it's just 3-4, 3 aft. Device slots 3. Now here's something that's unique about these ships is you have universal slots. You have a Lieutenant Commander universal slot, and see you get 1 Lieutenant Tactical, 1 Lieutenant Engineering, 1 Commander Science. See, that's where it shows you this is really a ship that lends heavily to science. 1 Ensign Universal and 1 Lieutenant Commander Universal. So you could use that Lieutenant Commander Universal for tactical and get some pretty good tactical powers out of the ship, even though it's a science-y kind of ship. Console upgrades, you get 4 tactical, again 4 tactical, and you only find that on like escorts, so that's really good right there. So you can really beef this up as a tactical. This is a tactical science ship. Think of it that way. It's an escort science ship in a way. 2 engineering slots, 4 science, again lean heavily on the science as well. Base turn rate 12 degrees per second. Now that may sound slow, but when you have the tachyonetic converter on the ship like I do, it actually turns really fast, and you'll be surprised how quickly it actually turns. Impulse modifier 0.16, you get +10 to auxiliary, +5 to weapon power systems. Universal Lieutenant Commander and Instant Bridge Officer stations. Let's see, bonus tactical console slot, sensor analysis, subsystem targeting, can equip cannons, and auxiliary phaser dual heavy cannon Mark 12, accuracy ×2 and damage. 1 hangar bay with 1 wing of Danube runabouts, and you can launch 2 of those, or actually you can launch 4 of those at a time. Launching 1 launches 2, and then you launch it again and you have 4 runabouts fighting beside you. Console universal quantum field focus controller. So the tactical, what's unique about the tactical is it comes with that unique console, the universal quantum field focus controller. All the ships have the auxiliary phaser dual heavy cannons, and basically that's just a dual heavy cannon that instead of using main weapon power uses auxiliary power, but you have to have a lot of auxiliary power, so I tend not to use that and instead use my own cannons, so that I just put all my power to weapon power and not have to worry so much about auxiliary. And I'm playing this on a tactical character, believe it or not. I have this ship equipped on a tactical character, and it's very powerful. Alright, now let's go to the Engineering Vesta. Looks a little bit different. Not huge difference, but like there's a side view of the engineering. There's a side view of the tactical, a little bit different skin, a little bit different nacelle and hull and all that. It's just a little bit different. And as you unlock all of these, you can change the costume around, obviously, to whatever you want. Basically, it's the same stats. You can see it's the same hull, same shield modifier, same crew, same weapon layout. And pretty much, I think, the same bridge officer station layout. 1 Lieutenant Tactical, 1 Lieutenant Engineering, 1 Commander Science, 1 Ensign Universal, 1 Lieutenant Commander Universal. Exactly the same bridge officer stations. Same turn rate, same impulse modifier, except this ship gives you +5 power to shields, whereas the tactical Vesta was +5 power to weapons. Engineering is +5 to shields. They're thinking you're going to tank a little bit more with the engineering one. And this one has a bonus engineering console slot because it's the engineering ship. So you get another, you get 3 engineering, but only 3 tactical. Remember, the tactical Vesta had 4 tactical console slots. This one only has 3. So you lose a tactical, but you gain an engineering, and you still have 4 science. So really, you know, you could really beef all of these ships up. Just think about this. In the science slot, putting 4 of those shield generators in the science console slot. Imagine that. You would have a tremendous amount of shield capacity on this ship if you did that. Amazing ability for that. Sensor analysis, subsystem targeting, can equip cannons. The same phaser or dual heavy cannon, same hangar bay, but this one has another unique console called a multi-dimensional wave function analysis module. So that's your unique console you get with this ship. Okay, now let's go to the science ship. This one is definitely decked out all for science. Again, it looks a little bit different. The pylons here are more toward the back, a little bit different look to it. Basically, again though, the same stats, same hull, same shield, same crew, same weapon layout. Let's see, you get 1 lieutenant tactical, 1 lieutenant engineering, 1 commander science, 1 ensign, 1 lieutenant commander universal. Same layout there as well. Except, check this out, you get a bonus science. I didn't know this until just now actually. You get a bonus science console slot. Check this out, 5 science console slots on the sciencey ship, but only 2 engineering and 3 tactical. So I mean, if you are extremely science heavy, boy, I'll tell you, 5 science console slots could really help you out a lot. Same everything else, except this one has +15 power to auxiliary systems because it is the science ship and you need that auxiliary power for those science abilities. Same everything else except for the unique console, which is the sympathetic fermion transceiver. So those are the 3 unique consoles: Universal Quantum Field Focus Controller, Universal Multidimensional Wave Function Analysis Module, and Universal Sympathetic Fermion Transceiver. Now, all 3 of those consoles form a set. So if you have all 3 of these ships, you put all 3 of those consoles on your ship, and you get 2 bonuses. You get a 2-piece bonus and a 3-piece bonus. And I will show you that. So that is a basic rundown of the different Vestas. Now we'll go to the ship here. I have all the ships on this character. I have the there's the multi-mission Reconnaissance. Actually, this is the one I'm flying. This is the tactical ship, and I'll show you that in a second because I have all the stuff on it. But I'll show you the other ones real quick. There's the multi-mission Strategic Explorer, and here is that auxiliary phaser dual heavy cannon it comes with. Again, it uses aux power instead of weapon power, but then you'll need a lot of aux power if you really want to make it useful, and you would have to go all phasers to keep the energy type the same so you get the most benefit from damage. So you're kind of locked into just using phasers if you want to utilize that dual heavy cannon. If you want to customize your own energy type, then you just want to take this off and do your own thing. And that's what I did. But check this out. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the engineering one. So that's what that looks like. Yeah, the engineering one comes with that extra engineering slot. And then the... where's the science one? There's the science one. Check it out. 5 science console slots. Wow. Wow. And they all have hangar slots. So that's cool. So that's just a little look there at that. Now let's go to my ship, which I have equipped. I chose the tactical Vesta, and I am on my tactical character. This is the Valiant Doctor, and he is a tactical character. This is also what I flew the Jem'Hadar Dreadnought on, and now I'm going to show the Vesta. And the main reason is he's geared for cannons, and I'm going to put cannons on the Vesta. The Vesta can support cannons, so let's put cannons on this thing and see what it can do, right? So we have Ebro. I need to rename it. Let's rename it War TARDIS. There we go. Alright, now that's a lot better. Okay, so what I did on this ship, and this is, again, I don't have the absolute best gear. In fact, I was kind of disappointed that I lacked some of the gear I thought I had, but on this character, this specific character, this is my third character I ever created in the game, I have kind of ignored a little bit. I need to do a little bit more work on this character. My reputation, I'm almost to tier 5. In fact, I may hit tier 5 right now. Let's see if I can do that. Oh man, just barely. I need to add another project, and then I'll get to tier 5. I'm almost tier 5 Omega. I'm only tier 2 Romulan, but I will work on that. Anyway, and what I'm trying to explain there is basically I'm kind of disappointed, and I only have the Mark 11 Mako shield on this character. I do not have the Mark 12 Mako shield, and I wish I did, but I just never got around to getting it on this character. Back before the whole STF change, I just never bothered with it, and I wish I had at this point, but I have not. So anyway, here's how I've decked it out. I wanted to do cannons on this ship because this ship can support cannons, and it actually turns a lot faster than you think it would. So I'm able to use cannons very effectively. However, I only have 3 forward weapon slots, and that's very disappointing. I wish I had a 4th one so I could have another dual heavy cannon. But on the front, I'm able to put 2 dual heavy cannons, and I went with Polaron because that's what this character basically has and is set up for, is Polaron. So I got the Polaron dual heavy cannons Mark 12. There's still the old Borg ones from the previous way things used to be. I need to update these. I would love to get the fleet versions of these dual heavy cannons, so that's something I have to work on in the future. But anyway, I've got 2 of the Mark 12 dual heavy cannons, Polaron, and then I got all Mark 12 also Polaron turrets in the back, so that way they will also be firing at all things at all times. Now on the front, what I have is a advanced fleet Chronoton torpedo. It's a fleet weapon, Chronoton torpedo. The Chronoton torpedo I like a lot. It does a lot of damage. It's just pretty good. It does a lot of kinetic damage. It does it's good. It's a good torpedo. I've grown to really like the Chronoton torpedo. And anyway, I have the most powerful version of it here with the fleet version of it, Mark 12, damage times 3, and accuracy. So definitely put that on my ship to utilize a good torpedo, and that way I can use torpedo high yield and torpedo spread with that ship, and then with that torpedo, and then of course with my cannons, I can use cannon rapid fire and cannon scatter volley. I have all the bridge officer spaces for that, and I'll show you that in a second. Now for my engine, deflector, and shield, I went with the 2-piece Borg set, deflector and impulse, and that will give me a hull heal randomly. So I get that bonus. It's called the autonomous regeneration sequencer. I get that as a 2-piece bonus from that automatically when it decides it needs to do it. So that was just a little bonus I wanted to have on the ship, beef it up just a little bit more, so I did that. For the shields, I don't have the Mark 12, but I went with the Mark 11 Mako shield, and the reason why I went with the Mako shield is it's pretty much the best shield for fighting the Borg, and that's what I'm obviously going to be doing for this series, showing the STFs in space. And so the Mako shield is best for that. And also this is kind of a cruiser type ship, and the Mako shield has a better capacity than some other shields. So I want that shield capacity really boosted up with this ship. That's where I'm trying to get at. I only have 2 engineering slots. That's a bummer. Of course I got my power transfer and my resistance going, kinetic and all energy damage resistance. Now for my shields, I had 2 Mark 12 field generators. I wanted to put those on so I get an even better shield capacity. Again, really beef up the shields on the ship. It has a high shield modifier on this ship, so I should have a really good shield capacity. And this is unique. This is something I got from the low-buy store, and you can buy, it's like 200 low-buy. It's a tachyonetic converter, and as you can see, it increases your flight turn rate and your critical chance and your critical severity. It's part of a set, but on this ship I don't need that set. I just want the benefit of that flight turn rate, and boy does it help. I also have, of course, I never leave home, and always on every ship have the universal assimilated module, because that improves your critical chance, your critical severity, your weapon power, and hull repair. So all that is important. And then for my tactical, all I had room left after the 3 unique consoles, it was just room for 1 Polaron modulator to increase Polaron damage. Because I wanted to use the 3 modules from the other ships, and as you can see, this is them right here. This is the quantum field focus controller. This one, basically a devastating phaser beam attack. 45-degree targeting arc, so it's pretty narrow, but it does a devastating phaser beam attack. It does phaser damage, and it can disable 1 subsystem. And that's part of the set. And as you can see, it says part of set experimental systems 3 of 3. So I have all 3 on here. I have the all of them. So the set 2 bonus from having 2 is called Chronoton Integrated Quantum Slipstream. So I have that. And then having all 3 of them gives me a quantum focused shield bubble. So I have that from having all 3 of them. And I will show you what that is. So this one is the phaser beam attack. This one is a multi-dimensional wave function analysis module. It's complicated, but it's better explained in space, so I'll show it to you there. Excuse me. This one is also called the sympathetic fermion transceiver. This one's a little easier to understand. It gives hull and shield repair, extra health points, and shield regeneration, and particle generator in space. Again, that one's probably a little bit better demonstrated in space as well, which I will do now. For my stations, I use the Lieutenant Commander Universal Station to give me Cannon Rapid Fire 2, Cannon Scatter Volley 1, and Tactical Team 1. I'm just using my other Universal for a tactical team 1. I mean, you can do anything you want, really. It's a universal station. In fact, in hindsight, I would probably remove this and go ahead and do hazard emitters. I just noticed I don't have hazard emitters. So I could put a science, since it's universal, and since science, I could put a science character here and do that. Let's see, maybe I can do that right now. In fact, I don't know. Oh, there, yeah. My Science Space 2 already had hazard emitters. That's better. That's better. That gives me that hazard emitter. I'd rather have that than another tactical. Okay, and this character, of course, you only get you have to have tactical on this one. I'm doing Torpedo High Yield 2 and Torpedo Spread 1. And then I've got my engineering. And then on all of these ships, you have Commander Science. So I did Polarized Hull, I did Science Team 2, and these other 2, they do rely on auxiliary power, and I have a red matter capacitor that will help with that. But I just thought, I mean, I'm not really a science character on this character, it's tactical, but I figured I might as well put these on here. I had a character that had Tychon's Rift 3, so I figured, well, I might as well just go ahead and use that. That way it's the most powerful Tychon's Rift you can get. And then Feedback Pulse 2. Why not? Just do a little extra damage to ships as they're firing on me. Again, all that relies a lot on auxiliary power, though, so you want to make sure you hit your red matter capacitor, or if you have emergency power to auxiliary, you want to hit that before you use those powers, because that relies heavily on that. Alright, so that is basically a look at our setup. I just want to show you real quick that you can customize the ship however you want. This is the default tactical look on it, but you can go to advanced, and if you have unlocked all the ships, you've got all the different types. Like here's the Aventine saucer, there's the Rademaker saucer, and there's the Vesta saucer. So you can change everything. The hull down here, you can change to all three types. Same with the nacelles, all three types. And then the stanchions, again, all three types. So you can totally customize the ship however you want if you have all of them unlocked. Okay, now let's go into space and look at this in a little more detail. Again, I did say before this is going to be a long introduction, but it's needed because there's a lot to talk about with this ship. So just hang tight a little bit longer, and then we'll get to Infected Space Elite. Alright, so here is my ship in space. I have to admit, I've already taken her into combat, but in the TARDIS sector, I did the Romulan patrols to get some Romulan marks. I have not used it in any STFs yet against the Borg, so I do not know how it will do against that, but at least I do know how it will do up against some Tholians and some other people that you can find there in Taldewa. Alright, so let's see. First thing, let's look at our specs. Crew complement 750, my crew recovery rate 50% a minute, kind of low, but oh well. Alive crew 750, stealth detection, even just sitting here I've got a stealth detection rating of 67. Power transfer rate 175. Now my defense, my bonus defense is minus 15, but if I go to full impulse, see, my bonus defense is a maximum of 30.3%, and to maintain a positive bonus defense I need to have at least half impulse on this ship to maintain a positive bonus defense. Otherwise, I'm in the negative, and I don't want that. My hull is 38.3, not the best hull in the game. I think our Dreadnought was like 58, if I remember. So yeah, the hull is not that great, and that's why I want, you know, anything I can do to increase the shield capacity. My hull repair rate is very high. My shield capacity is 14.9. There we go, 14.9, and that's thanks to these two dillies right here I have. Very nice. My resistance. I got a 66.8% crit severity and a 7.2% crit chance. See, I like to keep those as high as I can on my tactical character. Bonus accuracy 15. Movement. Now we're sitting still right now. I've got a turn rate of 3.5 degrees a second. Go to full impulse, and it's at 20.8 degrees a second. Now let's turn this. Let's go back down to standing still. So here I am standing still, and now I'll go to full impulse and turn, and look how quickly it actually turns. It's not as slow as you would think. So I can turn. We'll just keep the camera static. I can turn that fast just by default. So that's not bad. I can bring my cannons around to enemies pretty quickly without even doing anything. Now if I use the evasive maneuvers, let's watch how quickly that goes. Now look how fast I can turn around. Look at this. I'm doing donuts. I'm doing donuts in the parking lot of ESD. Check that out. So that shows you that it can turn pretty quickly, and it does have a big inertia though, so you kind of have to watch that. But pretty quick at turning to where I need it to go, you know, back and forth right there. Not too bad at all. I'm impressed by the turn rate. Again, that is helped by that tachykinetic converter I have on. Definitely very useful on any cruiser to turn faster. Now let's show the unique abilities that this ship comes with. I can't show the phaser. It's the quantum field focused phaser. I can only do that when I'm in combat, and it does more damage basically when the shields are down on your enemy. But as you can see right now, it's going to do 977 phaser damage for 12 seconds. Disable one subsystem. There's a chance of that. There's a chance that it can do 751 kinetic damage with 100% shield penetration. So there is a chance that it will do 100% shield penetration with directed energy attacks through the shields. So that is something to keep in mind. So that's that. Of course, I can't show you right now. Here's my runabouts. I can launch one wing and they'll come up. There they go. There's one, and it should pop another one. There he goes. So there's my two runabouts. And just like with any hangar, you have your options of carrier commands. You can do attack, you can do escort, and intercept, and recall. I can also, after this cools down, you can see there's a cooldown, but after this cools down here to 0, I can launch another wing. So there's two runabouts there. Now I can launch another wing, and I will actually have 4 runabouts firing. So that's not bad at all. There's my, and they'll take a position like this where they are in front of you like that. So that is really cool. They'll follow you, they'll go wherever you go. You got 4 runabouts on your side. Alright, here is the Fermion field. It basically gives, it affects yourself and friends around you. It gives you extra hit points for 20 seconds, and it gives you a shield regeneration for 20 seconds. And it gives a starship particle generator for 20 seconds. So we'll enable that. And that's what that looks like. And so anywhere we go, if we come around here to these friendlies, you'll see that it affects them as well. It does the shield regeneration and the hit points on any friendlies that are around you as well. And my runabouts. And then it's gone. And then you have a cooldown of 3 minutes. And there's my runabouts. Alright, now let's do the other one. This is the multi-dimensional Graviton Shield. It basically, to target, repels the target, plus 221.5 repel, and then to self, it has a kinetic damage resistance rating, so if you're taking a lot of torpedo damage, that would be good for that. And to self, it has an immunity to movement debuffs, and it reflects up to 0.54 of the incoming kinetic damage back to the target with a 50% shield penetration. And this will be seen as a pinkish, like a pinkish energy wave that when the enemy hits you is reflected back to them and does kinetic damage back to them. So that's pretty cool. And immunity to teleport. So we'll enable that.
Warning, ship is under attack.
That's what that looks like. So as the enemy ship is firing at you, it will direct some kinetic damage back to them and do all that other stuff that it mentioned. It's almost similar in a way to this one, which is the feedback pulse, which reflects incoming energy damage back to the target as well, with shield penetration, 50%. And that's just a science ability that I put on the ship. But with both of those combined, you've got energy damage going back to them and kinetic damage going back to the enemy. So you kind of double up on the energy damage going back to the enemy. So I kind of like that because I hit both of them. And then I got like double the damage going back to the enemy when they're firing at me. So that's very cool. And then the last thing is really, really op. It makes your ship invulnerable, basically. It's immunity to all damage. I mean, what more can you say to that? Immunity to all damage. Reduces damage to shields by 78%. However, it takes your weapons offline. The only reason why you would want to use this ability is if you are taking a whole lot of damage and are about to die and need to survive. And this is what it looks like. Very awesome looking shield bubble. That is extremely cool looking. It's kind of similar in a way to the Intrepid Ablative Armor, where you enable it and then you are invulnerable, but it takes your weapons offline. You can't use your weapons during it. So, and then it has a long cooldown of 3 minutes. I haven't found a need to use it yet, but we'll see. So that's all the special abilities built into this ship that I can show. Oh, there is one more. I take that back. I guess I should show you that too before we get into this. Because there is one more thing this ship is good at, and that is quantum slipstream. And this is what it's called, the Chronoton Integrated Quantum Slipstream. It gives you, of course, extra speed in sector space and extra flight time, but you can turn. This has the best turning capability with slipstream that you'll ever see. I'll demonstrate that. We'll go to Eta Eridani at maximum warp. Now I am using the Borg engine, so we have that traveling at warp 20 right now. Now we'll enable the new quantum slipstream drive. That's going to boost our speed up to 37.37, and I believe that I have driver coils maxed, so yes. But, and it lasts a long time, it lasts a minute, so it takes us all the way there. But look how fast I can turn in sector space with this. You cannot turn that fast with the regular slipstream drive. This one allows you to turn and go to different star systems a lot easier with this slipstream drive. And as you can see, it lasts long enough that it can take you all the way from one end to the other end of a sector block with time to spare. So it lasts a long time. See, we'll go ahead and leave it running. That's how long it runs. It can take us really far. And then it has a cooldown. There you go. It has a cooldown of 2 minutes after it's done. So that is a very lengthy slipstream drive that goes very fast, allows you to turn really well, and will take you all the way across sector space really fast with time to spare. So that's what that does. Now you only get that with all 3 of these consoles there, but that's that third bonus ability that you get. Okay, so that is a look at the Vesta class. I know that intro was extremely long. Thank you for watching if you have. And now let's get into some Elite STFs, starting with Infected Space Elite. So stand by and I will get that queued up.